Mr. Moderator, Bishop Steve Hepburn, members of the clergy on the platform, melodious choir, musicians, you have been wonderful.
Praise Him!
Members of the political directorate, family members, other distinguished persons in the congregation, family members, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good afternoon. Let me first of all address the children of Miss G. Monica, Sister G, and for me, it is just simply G. On behalf of my wife, Yvonne, children Janine, Sherman, Rowan, my grandchildren Divine, Jada, and Jaden, I wish to express deep condolences on the passing of your dear mother. To the world, she was a mother. To you all, she was your world. We gather here today to celebrate the life of Mrs. Monica Williams, affectionately known called G, and to a lesser extent, Sister G, who was born to Alfred and Gwendolyn Johnson on January 31st, 1953. It means, ladies and gentlemen, that she was round about 70 years old. And I can tell you that I am 70. So I'm going to give you 70 years. It means that you will be here for the whole afternoon. But not to worry. I'm going to see if I can package it in about 2 hours. No, not to worry. I'm going to still shorten it, and we will spend about half an hour. She was the second child for her parents, who had 14 children in all. I tell you, I know everything. Her parents and siblings, that is Vincent, Errol, Pauline, Stephanie, has predeceased her. Monica met the love of her life from a very early stage in her life's journey. As a matter of fact, she got married to George Williams, affectionately known as Georgie, from she was about 19 years old. This meant that she was married in 1972. Unfortunately, Georgie died in 1982. As a neighbor to Monica G, she was more than someone who just lived next door. She was my friend, a confidant to others, and a constant presence in the lives of her children. Her extreme warmth and generosity inspire her children and grandchildren to be better versions of themselves. I can remember G's infectious laugh, her warm smile, greetings, and her big hug. I can recall that on the last occasion that I visited her, when she was lying on her sickbed, she said to me, Bertha Jakes, Miss Sid Master, come hug me. She then burst into tears. Of course, this was very heartrending to me. But being a man, I kept my composure and remained strong while fighting back the tears. I just couldn't cry and make her see. And the other girls were there, so I just pretended and said, "No mind, Sister G." Hug her and kissed her. I can recall that even in your pain, G, you never fail to brighten up the lives of your children, grandchildren, and friends, including myself who visited you. You never once failed to bring out the enthusiasm in everyone. And all of your children and friends will agree with me. For sure, G, Miss G, Sister G, Monica, you have certainly left a positive mark in this crazy, crazy world. I can recall that whenever I planted gungo near to your line, I could always count on G to pick some, pick same, and give it to me. This I would share with her. As a matter of fact, anything I read from my farm, I would ensure that G got her share. I will certainly miss her. Monica was a wonderful woman. Community members and the wider community speaks volumes about her persona. With me being someone who grew up with her, I know for a fact that even as a young girl, she had a very calm disposition. And she grew up into being a very wonderful young lady. She always took things in her strides. It was at Mount Olivet Primary that Monica received her initial education. And of course, she must have been a very nervous youngster, like all of us, on our first visits to school. After leaving Mount Olivet, she then attended Christiana Junior Secondary School, as it was in those days. You know that is now Christiana High, where she completed her education. Her brothers and sisters and children had a special love and respect for her. And they would see to her well-being even up until the point of her death. Her children recall the following, and I spoke with every one of them. Angie said that her mom was always supportive to others. She concluded that her mom was the epitome of the scriptural good neighbor who genuinely loved others. Marley remembers her mom as being a very strict disciplinarian. She said that if G had left the housework to be done, and when she returned it was not completed to her satisfaction, she would be severely reprimanded. And I will not tell you what kind of reprimand that was. Kim recalled that her mom's attention was very focused on the proper bringing of the girls. And congregation, ministers, you can attest to the beautiful young ladies that G produced. Right, Rev? G was very protective of her girls, and that she was more like a big sister to them, and that she was not afraid to point out to them whenever she thought they were heading in a direction of which she did not approve. Nadine and Nadia sister explained that she had a problem with in the bed, and that she would try to trick her mom by telling her that it's either Angie or Nikki. However, being the astute detective like mom that G was, she would do her investigations and point it out that it was Nadine. Nadine said because of Monica's expert detective skills, she developed a special fondness for her mother, and this admiration had drawn her even closer to her. And probably that is why Nadine has gone into some sort of detective work. Gotti said that his mom was hardworking and very industrious. He recalls her going out to work and returning late at night, and he would have to walk to the limit to meet her. He even recalled throwing a spoon which accidentally broke the windscreen of a car. The owner reported it to G, and Gotti said he didn't listen carefully to the report. And of course, being the kind mom and loving and considerate mother that G was, instantly repaid the complainant. G was ultra friendly and very conciliatory. You would never hear her speaking loudly. I live a stone throw away, and for 70 years, I've never heard of G and anyone in a quarrel. I must tell you that Jerome, he wrote something on Facebook and I saw it. So I took it down, Jerome. And I will quote. I think it's worthy of repeating. And here it is. Losing your loved one is never easy. You play the role of mom and grandmother in my life, which you executed well. I know God presented you with the A++ trophy. I was never ready to see you go, but God knows best. Rest well, Mom, your grandson, stroke son, Jerome. End of quote. Jerome would never knew that I saw it and I would put it in the eulogy. G maintained a close bonding with her 7 children. That is Gotti, Marlene, Nadine, Kim, Angie, Nikki, Abadan, who predeceased her earlier. It was said that Monica was such a special mother, so much so that none of the children could point to anyone and claim that she loved that one more than the other. She was very close to her brothers. Milo, I noticed that I said Ronald on the program. fondly called Ronnie. Remember that I live next door. I know them for 70 years, so I know everything. Irvin, Master Park, Gladson, where is he? Bob, Lyndon, Don, Kenroy, Chucky, Paul, and of course, sisters Olive, Teslin, known as Sister, and Lynette, known as Rosie. My friends, you will have taken note of the so many of us that are gathered here, and nobody has moved. Nobody. This is a very clear testament to how much she was adored by her family members and numerous friends. She was not only my neighbor, she was my good friend. We communicated fairly regularly, and I know that she was a loving and kind person. She was someone who was fun to be around, and she was very respectful. We will never truly understand God's way of doing things, but we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to His purpose. My friends, life gives no guarantees. It is uncertain and unpredictable. Congregation, everything about the future is uncertain. Nobody knows who will be next. But one thing is sure, God has already arranged our tomorrows. The family members of Monica wishes to express their heartfelt gratitude, thanks and appreciation to all for the support, the compassion, and outpouring of love shown during this very difficult time. I know in my heart that G, in her inimical style, would say, "GX me putus, you're alright." She would not want us to grieve for too long. Rather, she would want us all to remember the good times we all shared together. The happy times and the wonderful times that we all share with her. In this life, some may walk, others may run. But remember, the good Lord gave the tortoise and the horse the same time to reach Noah's Ark. My friends, your journey may be rough, tough, but you will definitely get to your destination that the good Lord has predetermined. Dear Lord, I know all the challenges and pains of the persons gathered here and elsewhere have, but you, Lord, knows everything. I hear their silence, however, you hear their prayers. I see their laughter, you know their tears. I see when they gave, you see what has been taken from them. You hear every single prayer and meet them at their needs. Sometimes you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. Monica has left behind to mourn 6 children: God, Marlene, Nadine, Angie, Nikki, Georgia. 12 grandchildren, 1 great-grandchildren, one great-grandchild, an uncle, 10 siblings, with other relatives and numerous friends. To the family, loved ones, and numerous friends, may the Lord be your strength and your shield. Monica, Miss G, may your soul rest in peace and light perpetual shine upon you.